Okay, well, I thought I was going to be a wise guy and set this thing up so that you all would be able to see this well. But unfortunately, when I'm on YouTube, I don't have a capability of magnifying this, so you're going to have a little hard time seeing it. Okay, why am I doing this? Hello, everybody. This is Wednesday, of course, the 29th of April, and I had a very dear friend after I put up those last two videos. She called me and she said, "Hey, people don't know what you're talking about, this son versus son thing. You got to talk to them and show them what you're talking about because I don't think they're getting it." So the point of the situation in Malachi, and that's what this is. Let me show you. We're in Malachi. You see that right there? Let me show you what Malachi looks like in Hebrew since we're here. That says Book of Malachi. Okay, and that's what it looks like in Hebrew. Just above where it says book, it says Liber Malachi, and then up above you'll see the Hebrew letters Mem, Lamed, Aleph, Kaf, and Yod. That's Malachi. Malachi means my, the Yod there, the little thing on the end means a possessive. It means my messenger or my angel. Now we're coming over to chapter 4, which in the original Hebrew doesn't really exist. It just keeps going, but I'm not going to try to explain that. That'll be too hard. You'll notice I have right here on the lower right, the problem came in with people wanting to know what's the difference between, or how can you say the Son of Righteousness is the sun in the sky and not Jesus? Well, this is the reason why, okay? So I want you to see what we're doing here. You'll notice right there where the circle is with the number 821. I'm surprised this is picking this up. I couldn't magnify it before, but I guess it's focusing now. That word right there is the sun. If you'll see it's right there with the 821 above it. That's Strong's number for looking it up in the Strong Concordance, the Hebrew lexicon. It says the letters there are Shin, Mem, Shin. And you'll notice underneath it, what does it say? It shows that the translation is the sun, and that's exactly what it is. It's Shemesh. It is the sun. So remember I quoted where it says, and the sun shall rise with healing in his wings. Well, here it all is right here in the Hebrew. All right? If you can read this, it says, and shall rise for you, fearing my name, the sun of righteousness and healing in his wings. Just like I told you it said. It's the sun in the sky, not Jesus at this point. I'm not saying Jesus can't control this, but they're using technology way, way beyond anything man has. Okay? Now let's look at the word for son like Jesus, the Son of God, the Son. It's in the same chapter, so you can see I'm not pulling your leg. We come up here, and you see that one circled right there? Okay? That's his son, but in the passage here it says, and a man has pity on his son. The vav at the end of that, you'll see it says b'nai. That's a bait. B'nai is bait nun, and then that's the name for son, Ben. And I told you about that yesterday when I wrote the comments and pinned it onto my comments on there, the pinned comment. Bait and nun, Ben, means son. The little short, thin line that's on there right at the end, if you can see that, that is a vav, and that denotes, that says his. So it's talking about a man on his son, but the word is spelled beit nun. Okay, and then the vav at the end shows the possession or the connection to the man. So that's showing you that it's his son. So you see the difference. I'm not kidding you when I say that this is talking about a technology that is so far beyond what man has, and that God uses some form of technology. And we are part of that technology ourselves. We have that connection to God. He's going to use the sun, Shemesh, to destroy the wicked, but to heal us, because it'll have righteousness in its wings for us. In other words, we don't have to fear what this thing's going to do if our heart and minds are connected to God. It's the wicked that will have to. And we'll go ahead and read this. Let's read the translation again so you'll understand what it's saying. But to you who fear my, well, let's go back up and we'll read the whole thing. For behold, the day is coming, burning like a firepot, and all the proud and every doer of wickedness shall be chaff, and the day will set them ablaze, says Jehovah of hosts, which will not leave root or branch to them. That means when it says root or branches, it means any connections to their ancestors or their posterity will be cut off. In other words, they lose their families. The wicked will lose their human connections to their families. And I can't think of a worse possibility than that. And we'll tie that into what Malachi says about Elijah here in just a second. Okay, continuing. But to you who fear my name, the Son, again, there, you see, it's the right translation, the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness shall rise up, and healing will be on his wings. And you shall go out and frisk like calves of the stall. What that means is you won't have any cares. He'll take care of you, okay? And you shall tread under the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day which I am preparing, says Jehovah of hosts. Now remember I told you about the leave the wicked without any root nor branch. Okay, listen to what he says about everybody else. Remember the law of my servant Moses, which I commanded him in Horeb for all Israel, his statutes and judgments. Behold, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Jehovah. When it says Lord, okay, in the Old Testament, it's referring to the Yod He Vav He that you know as the word Jehovah. Okay, that's what it means when it usually says Lord in this context. And he shall, and what will he do? We talked about the wicked not having root nor branch, but for the good people, the people that have lived with his law in their hearts and minds, which is what? Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, might, mind, and strength. And the second is like unto it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Upon these two are all the law and the prophets. Let's read what he does for you. He doesn't take away your root or branch. Remember, Jesus said, I will give you life and that more abundantly. And look what he says here. And he, God, Jehovah, shall turn the heart of the fathers to the sons, and the heart of the sons to their fathers, that I not come and strike the earth with utter destruction. So to God, that connection in your families, your sons, your daughters, your grandfathers, your grandmothers, your mother, your dad, your wife, all of that is what this is about, no matter what somebody tries to translate to you or explain to you about there is no, male and female in the next life. That's not true. That's not true at all. The whole point of that was misquoted and mistranslated and misunderstood in the New Testament about that is merely that. It's a misunderstanding. They don't understand the euphemisms and the use of the law of the time. So let's go back and review one more time so that you fully understand what I'm telling you here. God is going to use the sun in the sky, Shemesh, it's right there, with the 8:1:21 over it, and the translation's right underneath it that says the sun. God is going to use that thing in the sky, that thing we call a star. He's going to do something that he's going to send some type of a transmission that is going to reverberate in the hearts and minds of those who have his spirit in them, who want to do the right thing, who have the spirit of Jesus Christ in them, okay? But to the wicked, it will cause them to burn. Think about it. A CME, a coronal mass ejection, happens, and I don't know what it's going to be, but this just is an example. A huge CME blows up, and it takes out all of the electronics that these people depend upon for their communications, these people being the wicked ones, okay, who are trying to enslave us. Then they have no communications with each other. But if the sun sends us this healing and our level of realizations are raised up, then we will have the ability to communicate instantaneously with anybody anywhere that we want. And of course that means God, right? You see what's happening here. So there's Shemesh, the sun. It is not Bane, which is that one there with the circle around it. And again, the Vav at the end just denotes that that's a possessive to the fact that Ish there under the number 376 says man and on his son. It's just showing that connection, that relation. But the way Ben son is spelled in Hebrew is Beit Nun. It is not Shemesh. So you see, even in Malachi itself, it makes a distinction between these two things. Ladies and gentlemen, This is going to be one of the most spectacular events in mankind's history. This is going to be a marvelous work and a wonder, to quote somebody I don't care much for. But the fact of the matter is, it will be. It will be an incredible, incredible event. So get right with God, as so many people say. Just spend your time getting right with God. Love your family, love your wife, love your husband. Seriously, that's what this is all about. It's not what these goons in the New World Order and the elites are trying to do to us. They're the evil ones. They probably have Nephilim blood and DNA in them because of the way they act, or if they are God's children that have been deceived, that's going to have to change. I'm sorry about how I had to do this. I apologize so much for having to do it this way. I wanted to do it a little differently, but I just couldn't get the focus to work, so I had to hold the camera in order to do it. All right. Uh, okay, I'll show you my ugly face one more time, and then we'll be done here. Okay. I just hope that that was of some interest to all of you. This is why I say that the study of Hebrew is so important. You have to. Sorry, I'll take these off. The study of the original languages is where it's at, ladies and gentlemen, because you'll be led by false preachers, false, people who are trying to make a buck off you. Not everyone that comes and says, I am Christ, lo, here, there, Christ, whatever. Not everyone that says, I am Christ, actually believes it. They use it to deceive you. Okay? All right. I don't want to keep you any longer, and I can't really do chat this morning for a number of reasons, but I wanted to clear that up, and I wanted you to see what I was talking about, okay? All right. Yeah, it's not looking too good, is it? A little too gray, a little too blonde, but I'm going to keep it going for a few more days, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, study in the original languages. Understand the euphemisms. Okay, 21st century understanding of the euphemisms of the first century just don't cut it. Okay, all right. Hey, thanks everybody. I'll see you later. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you and all of your righteous endeavors.